What's up, guys? My name is MadSquash924. Welcome back to another episode of Night Call Part 4. And we are here where we must return home. It's pretty late in the day, as you see, it's 3:32. We're very tired. I noticed, though, we have a main suspect here, which maybe we should do, but I think it's probably more apt for us to return home, unfortunately. So we are actually going to go return home, and we're going to see what we have for evidence and such, and hopefully find out more things about this judge, about this supposed killer, that we will soon, I hope, find out about. I don't know who this killer is as of yet. So far, I don't think it's anybody we've met, to be honest with you. So, I don't know, we're going to keep looking into things. You know more about your clients. You check the Past X menu for more details. For we have met Phil. We have met Grace. You helped Grace hang up the phone. Grace admits she wanted to be a dancer. You've met Ludivine. Things didn't go so well at first with Ludivine, but they ended up okay. You met Leia. You met Herve. Or Hervé. It's probably Hervé. And that's it, right? Yep. At the foot of the front door, of your front door, just behind a drain pipe, you notice an envelope. It's thick and heavy. You can just make out your name, written in thick black marker on the front. Your real name. You take a deep breath and go inside. In the envelope, you find more information, just as Bussett promised. You lay them on the table. You take a few minutes to update your board with your new clues. Steps in the hallway. They stop in front of your door, then move away. You glance at your bed and get back to work. Okay, let's see here. We have another picture of the crime scene. Police report of victim 1 given by Bussett. Police report number 2 of a victim, and there's not enough time for this one, unfortunately. Let's go and look at the board. Okay, we have quite a few things to look at still. Death. Let's move some of these down a little bit. We know that's part of that. So victim 1 molester never got arrested, so that's pretty disgusting. Let's move this a little bit. So it's a little bit more organized. The Heights killer. The killer's height, excuse me. This goes here. These are actually shared amongst both. So move that there. This is only for you. This is shared. Killer's height. So, okay. This is only for you. I believe everything is pretty much set the way we had it before. Okay. Trying to move everything as low as possible. Okay, so Claudia Campos. Parents died. She is known to have tortured prisoners. She was a colonel. Okay. Victim 1. Molester never arrested, huh? Okay. Let's end the night. With a heavy hand, you wipe your tired face. You open the sofa bed and lie down. The events of the day run through your head. The streets, the passengers, their faces, their problems. You open one eye. You find your studio calming. There's something special about living in a garret. Like yours is the last place before the sky starts. You get up quickly. And a few minutes later, you're outside of your studio. As night 3 begins. Okay. Wow, we have quite a few places to discover as well. Let's see, do we have a main suspect that we can go and... Yes, we do. There's a main suspect. So we should probably drive them first. I would like to check out those other crime scene-esque things, but I think that is more important because it's whether or not, well, we make money and gain more information about the judge. Granted, these are 2, but we are actually down in profits right now because we had to spend some to get more information. So let's see about this guy. His name is Pierrot, and he's too drunk to drive. We have to go 9.3 kilometers. He'll give us 30.69 euros. You pull up in front of the address. The central office gave you a crepe joint. Quite a popular one by the looks of the line, spilling out the door and onto the sidewalk. Excuse me, sorry. You sit for a moment. The doors open, and a group of 30-somethings come into view. All the men and women are dressed alike, sporty, running shoes, jeans, small shoulder bags. They're officers from the Paris Anti-Crime Squad, in plain clothes. You sigh. They're brutish types. The ones who like to race, tackle, clobber. Ones who ruin the afternoons you spent wandering around Paris in your teens. After a bit, one of them pulls away from the group and comes over to your taxi. He opens the door and collapses onto the back seat. He is stocky and of Asian descent. You can see his muscles through his thick winter clothes. He smells like crepes and hard cider, and his face is bright red. Trying to think of a voice for this guy. Hey, what's up? I live near Ternes. He chuckles as one of his colleagues rushes over to the taxi and pulls an imaginary gun from his coat. He points to his badge and screams at you with a big smile on his face. What a douchebag! The other cop eventually backs off, and you drive away. Sorry, man, we're having a going away party for a colleague and celebrating Christmas, too. It's no worries. The passenger smiles and puts his fingers back on his temples. I drank too much. Shit. I'm a lightweight, and they knew it. I think they were trying to loosen my tongue. His behavior changes abruptly, like he's just seen a ghost. One question. Yes? Do taxi drivers have some sort of a policy or ethics code? I'm not sure I understand the question, sir. Like priests or doctors. If If I tell you something, can you keep it to yourself? He starts speaking before you even have a chance to reply. I've been lying to my colleagues for years. I've joined the squad 8 years ago, and they all think I'm in a relationship with a woman who lives in Strasbourg. And that's where we're going to get married. He makes a strange yelping noise, like an air bubble bursting on the surface of a river. And as soon as they get too close to Strasbourg, I start making up stories. We've almost broken up 10 times. I convinced them we're trying to have a kid, but it hasn't worked yet. He sighs. Fuck. Saying it out loud, it's just the worst. His eyes are getting shiny. I'm gay. A deep breath. I'm getting married in a few weeks to my boyfriend. Another breath. Longer. Deeper. No one at work knows. Not a soul. The next sentence comes out in a rush. He holds his breath the whole time. I like men. I've always liked men. But I work in a police station and listen to their comments, to their jokes all day long. When we catch a guy who's never done time before, we tell him briefly what he should expect. We talked about the violence, about the, Finally, he breathes in again. I say we because I'm not in on it. Because I can say fag any time of day, without any prompting. The word rolls off my tongue completely naturally. Fag. He finally looks up to you in your eyes. They're not mean. Who's that? He shakes his head. My colleagues. My colleagues aren't mean people. I mean, they're cops. Not mean, just doing the job. He manages to flash a tiny, crooked smile. You know what I really like? He pauses. I like to have them over for dinner. Everybody on the squad. They could see my place. We could play a board game. Something normal, you know? And they can meet James. He's your, husband-to-be? He takes a moment to think about your question. Yes. Soon. He smiles at last. A genuine smile. Can you believe it? We're getting married in 2 weeks. After living together for 9 years. For 9 years! He's been willing to live in a lie. Is he, James, he's English? James is Australian. We met over there. I was traveling. I must have been, what, 22? I was working on a potato farm there in the middle of nowhere, Victoria. Me, the little dude from the Parisian suburbs. He was on his gap year, just after college. And, we just clicked. He comes from a very typical family, a mom, a dad, and an older sister. He likes to surf, does charity work, likes to hunt, and fish. Totally Australian. Your passenger flashes his pearly whites. His eyes are shining, and he's getting emotional. His, parents couldn't handle him being gay, and even less so him dating an Asian. It's Things are complicated in Australia. He stops abruptly. Shit. My head is spinning. I don't feel so good. Why am I telling you all this? Why? He grabs onto the seat in front of him. Hey, can you pull over? You stop immediately. Sorry, I'm waiting for the achievement to go away. He opens the door, and he leans the top half of his body out. He throws up. You open your window to air out the greasy smell of fried crepes and the sour scent of cider. A moment later, the cop sits back up. Okay. I'm all set. I got it all out. You start driving again. I'm sorry, really. It's all right. I hate all that. These sausage parties, cheap alcohol, the lies. You nod while your passenger moans and quietly says, I'm sorry. Don't worry about it. He pauses to catch his breath. Shit. I haven't barfed like that since last Easter. They made me drink this South African liquor. Something with cream and cocoa. Nasty. I can still picture it. I was doing shots while they shouted my name. Karate Kid. Karate Kid. Karate Kid. He seems uncomfortable. It's my nickname on the squad. Karate. Yeah, I was a judo champion. And I'm a gook. So he runs his hands along the sides of his body, like he's showcasing it for the Home Shopping Network. So, Karate Kid. Yeah, I know, it makes no sense. Yeah, I know what you're gonna say. It's racist. You remain silent. Well, I can't argue with that. But he stops. Everything's spinning again. Can you pull over? A repeat of last time. He opens the door, leans his head out, his torso, his arms. The sound makes your stomach churn, so you stare straight ahead. Can I ask you a question? Or puke on the sidewalk? A little inside the vehicle. Go ahead. Fine. Shoot. He sits up. Prompts you to drive. So, here goes. What should I do? Should I keep on going? Should I confess? Should I invite them to my wedding and surprise them? He pauses. It's a long one. Well, be straight with me. What would you do if you were me? If you were in my shoes? I'd think you're being hard on yourself. I mean, you're hurting yourself rather than trying to solve the problem. You're not going to change your sexual orientation or leave your husband. So there aren't a ton of alternatives. I mean, you have to tell them. Tell them? Wow. I've got to tell them. He looks at you in the mirror. Can you take me somewhere else if you don't mind? I don't mind. My colleagues are at a bar. I'll go see them. Tell them everything. If I don't do it now, then I'll never do it. A smile of relief spreads across his face. It's not just the alcohol talking? Yes. But I think it's about the 10th time I've gotten wasted this month. You're right, I'm hurting myself. He gives you the new address. I need to tell them now. I feel terrible, but I think I'll feel better if I speak to them directly. His headache is apparently back. It has knocked him out a bit. You're used to having drunk people in your cab, actually. Actually, the majority of your Saturday night passengers are drunk. I don't know how to tell them about all this. From the tone of his voice, you could tell he's beginning to panic. I don't think I'm ready. Your passenger stares hard at you. You can tell your silence is giving him doubts. I want to go to the bar. He seems determined, despite his shaky voice. I want to tell them about James. You're about to say something when he cuts you off. My mind is made up. He smiles briefly, and you turn back towards the bar. For the remainder of the trip, your passenger is silent. From time to time, he massages his temples. His headache is persistent. When he sees you watching him in the rearview mirror, he raises a hand. Everything's fine, it's cool. He smiles like someone slowly sobering up. Weariness replacing the alcohol, stress taking over giddiness. You stop the car. Your passenger waits for a second. Then all of a sudden, like he just woke up, he realizes you're at the bar. Already? Yes? He pays for his fare, but is frozen in place. Hey, a piece of advice. Tell them how you feel. Yeah, right. We know each other well enough. They should understand. In any case, he flashes you a grin. Thank you. I don't quite remember what I said about, but, thank you. He jumps out of the taxi so quickly you think someone kicked him in the ass. You follow his stocky figure with your gaze. He goes into the bar, looks for his friends, and waves. You drive off. Oh, good. We got some money. Okay, now we are close to... Actually, we're stupid close to this one. We should go here. Is there any more of the suspects? Or important people with the gold borders, which there are not. So let's go here. You park your taxi across from the stadium just a few meters from the two-story building. It's an odd brick place that clashes with the huge concrete behemoth that is Charlotte Stadium. You get out of the car and walk to the front door. You knock. You wait a few minutes, lights come on, and the door finally opens. Marco appears. Marco is a former taxi driver. A strange guy. A bit spacey and different. He's been working at the stadium for a few years now. Well, shit. You're still alive. That's Marco. You like him. I mean, wow. So nice to see you. Even though he stole your wife. Come in, come in. You want something to drink? Oh, right, you stopped drinking. A cup of coffee. Yes, please. You follow him into his caretaker's home. It's pretty nice despite the mess and filth. He serves you a cup of coffee and sits down at the table. You follow suit. The only noise in the room is the TV behind Marco. Before you came by, he was playing a soccer video game. The fans are singing and clapping their hands. So, what you been up to? I got a few questions for you. He shakes his head. No. Not yet, man. Seriously, no. The last time I helped you out, I lost my job, so the answer is no. You have no choice, and you know it. You owe me this much. Marco drops his head between his shoulders. He starts to beg. I'm telling you, man, I love this job. It's so easy. I get to take care of a stadium that's 75% empty of the time. Empty 75% of the time. He sits up roughly in his chair. Behind him on the screen, the stadium is going wild. I need information on Ronan Besson. He straightens up. Ronan? The coach that got killed by the judge. The very one. He was a great guy. Everyone's torn up about it. We'll drink our coffee. I hate it when you do that sort of thing. Seriously, freaks me out. He pops aside. This is going to get back to me somehow. There were rumors. Some parents heard he was a little too hands-on with the kids a while back, if you get my drift. But no one ever looked into it. Was it true? I don't know nothing. He sighs. A few months ago, Ronan cornered a kid, by the showers, you know what I mean? The kid stabbed him in the thigh with a pair of scissors and ran away. The kid's parents weren't sure whether they file a complaint. The club director brought Ronan in, and bam! 2 days later, he was murdered. And who else knows about this? About the kid? No one, I think. Well, maybe some other parents? I don't know. You get up. One last thing. We'll give him the names of the victims. You list the victims. He doesn't react until you mention Charles Bougrain. Oh yeah, him. I know him. Everybody knows him. Right-wing extremist son of a bitch. Yeah. Hold on. What are you doing these days? I can't say. Marco sits up. Damn it. I'm going to get fired. Easy. His voice speeds up. Don't tell anyone where you got this information, okay? Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, I've heard that before. A vuvuzela noise comes from the TV. Okay, I've gotta run. He walks you to the door, mumbling with clenched teeth. Every time I run into you, you jinx me. Every single time. You walk outside and over to your taxi. Door, key, motor purring. You go back to work. I mean, we have all these locations that we should be checking out, but I really should be taking care of these customers because we need more cash. We could also listen to the radio. There's so much things that we could do in this game. It is a little overwhelming. You know what I mean? And we've already wasted a quarter of the day with one customer and then one of these sightseeing places. But I do think this is a good spot for us to end today's episode of Night Call. Hope you guys all enjoyed today's episode. If you guys have, make sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment. Tell me what you guys think of today's episode. And if you're new to my channel, or been watching me for a little while, and you like what you see, feel free to subscribe to me, MadSquash924, over on YouTube, and don't forget to ring the bell to get notified of my latest videos. On the next episode, we have more places to explore and more customers to acquire, more information. And I'll see you all then. Goodbye.